Staying with us, you're watching Btm News Today. My name is Paul Collins. And I'm going to be beginning our newscast this evening from the earlier on what happened that in court, the State Minister of Finance Planning, Mr. Golobi, who also dabbles as the Ntenjeru North Member of Parliament, Amos Golobi, has been denied bail by the anti-corruption courts in Kololo. He was denied on charges of dealing in and suspected stolen property in relation to the Karamoja iron sheets. We're going to be beginning with this big story first.
Last weekend, the Finance State Minister for Planning, Amos Golobi, was arrested over the diversion of the iron sheets meant for the vulnerable people of Karamoja. Golobi, who allegedly decided to use the diverted iron sheets to roof his cow shed, was arrested on Friday night after showing up at the Criminal Investigations Department CID headquarters in Kibuli to record a statement. The minister has been snubbing CID summons, allegedly duping the investigators that he is out of the country on official duties, whereas not.
Your Worship, have you understood? Your Worship, I have understood. What did you have to say as an answer to this allegation? Your Worship, not guilty.
Golobi has been remanded to Luzira prison until April 20, 2023, as the court studies the party's submissions presented for his bail application. The minister, through his lawyers, had applied for bail on grounds of ill health. He was arraigned before the anti-corruption court presided over by the acting senior principal grade 1 magistrate, Albert Asimwe, and denied the said offences.
And the judicature sentencing guidelines, it's a punishment therein. Your Honor, you have an innocent person here who has not been proven guilty. My only prayer is that as you see him, hold him innocent until proven guilty. That is the cornerstone of the rule of law and the presumption of innocence.
Prosecution states that the minister between July 2022 and March 2023 at the office of the Prime Minister stores in Namamve and different places in Matuga and Kayunga dealt with government property, including 700 pre-painted iron sheets, having reason to believe that they were public property. The state prosecutor Stanley Moses Baina informed the court that inquiries into the matter are still underway and asked for more time to finalize.
It's very hard for the magistrate to take a minute just and make a ruling over those very many documents. So he has time, he has given himself time up to Thursday to study all those documents, and he gives a well-reasoned judgment.
Represented 7 charities who, among others, include Mariam Naigaga, the Namutumba District Woman Member of Parliament, James Kakoza, the Yara MP, Dr. Kefa Kiwan, the Kiboga East Member of Parliament, among others. Golobi becomes the second minister to be arrested over the Karamoja iron sheet scandal, where more than 14,500 pieces of iron sheets under the Karamoja Community Empowerment Program were diverted to ineligible third parties, including cabinet ministers, government officials, and ministers. Karamoja Affairs Minister Mary Goreti Kitutu was the first to be arrested and spent 2 days in police custody after she was produced before the anti-corruption court on 6th April alongside her brother Michael Naboya Kitutu on 6 charges related to causing loss of public property, conspiracy to defraud the government of Uganda. Btm News Today.
Well, it looks like there will still be a continuation of the same story with the iron sheets and also the people who are implicated in this huge scandal of the country. Now, the Uganda police has called upon all individuals involved in the iron sheets investigation scandal to fully cooperate with the CID or the Criminal Investigations Department in order to prove their innocence regards to the probe. Now, this comes after the State Minister of Karamoja Affairs, Honorable Agnes Nandutu, filed to adhere to the summons issued to her by the CID police last Friday. Now, this was confirmed by the police spokesperson, Mr. Fred Enanga, and Derek Canalo brings us more.
Early this month, the police CID department kicked off its investigations into the Iron Sheet scandal following the president's directive to do so. To date, 3 suspects have been arraigned before the anti-corruption court, and among these include Honorable Mary Goroti Chitutu, her brother Michael Chitutu, and the Minister for Finance, Amos Urgorobi, who has been arraigned before the court. Today, addressing journalists at the police headquarters in Naguru, the police spokesperson, Fred Enanga, expressed concerns over the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Honorable Agnes Nandutu, who snubbed summons that were issued against her last Friday.
CID headquarters, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, and the Office of the DPP. Now, although most of the investigations have been completed, at this stage, there are still additional areas that arise out of the constant consultations between the investigators and the Office of the DPP. As a result, we continue to trace onwards and backwards to clear some of these lines of inquiry. And so you will notice that there are some of the witnesses whom we interviewed from the beginning, whom we reinvited to appear at CID headquarters. Some of them have not appeared. For instance, last Friday, we summoned the Honorable Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs, Honorable Agnes Nandutu, to reappear at CID headquarters and to clarify on certain additional areas of inquiry, but she did not turn up.
It is from this that Enanga urged all suspects involved in the probe to abide by the police call whenever needed for smooth running of the investigations by the police CID department.
But I'd like to remind all witnesses who are a subject of investigation at the same time to please cooperate with the task team of investigators. The information that we require can help either prove the allegations against them or disprove the allegations that have been put against them.
Enanga further explained some of the procedures followed by the Criminal Investigations Department while arresting the suspects involved in the Iron Sheet scandal.
You're aware that the cases are being handled on a case-by-case basis. We opened individual case files for each and everyone whom we feel is involved in the Iron Sheets investigation, and we submitted several of those case files. And we shall only, as the police, we only respond where charges are sanctioned against the suspects. And so basically that is it. This week,
he has however cautioned the media practitioners, including social media, against biased reporting regarding the Iron Sheet scandal.
So see the media do a lot of speculative reporting, some of which is sensational and continues to promote panic in the public and to some of the witnesses. We want to caution you against such probably irresponsible reporting. Let's remain objective and transparent in the way that we do the investigative reporting and coverage of the Iron Sheets investigation.
Meanwhile, the Kampala Metropolitan Police Deputy Spokesperson Luke Owesijila said that their team had kicked off investigations into the collapsed building in Kasangati last evening.
You're all aware that building in Kansanga collapsed. We managed to register one death. That is a South Sudanese national, Ario Mario, who succumbed to the injuries. It is alleged that football fans, as they were watching the Arsenal match, this restaurant collapsed. And some people were pulled out very fast by the locals and also the first responders on the ground, but one person died. Today, we expect a team from the National Building Review Board, the engineers, to come and inspect the site. Hopefully we shall ascertain what exactly caused this. But as of now, we are not very much aware what caused the incident.
This report has been compiled by Ashraf Nduga for Btm News Today.
The National Economic Empowerment for Dialogue Party, NED, has announced that there is a silent genocide taking place in Karamoja region by the government in power. According to the Permanent Secretary, Asuman Odaka, he says that there is a mission intended to eliminate the Karamojongs from the country, as over 130 people have already died from hunger recently. The party was addressing the media during a weekly address at their party offices here in Rubaga, Kampala. Let's have a look.
The last time we had the issue about Karamoja is when
the Ugandan genocide raged on in the Karamoja region of northeast Uganda, as countless people lay slaughtered, beheaded, dismembered or shot, as what remained of their homes, villages and their entire lives dissolved into ashes as the fires set alight to destroy them, smoldered on relentlessly throughout the night. Addressing the media at their party head offices, Asuman Odaka revealed that the mass killings in Karamoja are deliberate to pave way for the people that are stealing their minerals.
So we want to tell you that there is still hell in Karamoja. We think that there is a specific and deliberate conspiracy against the people called Karamojongs in this country. Because you cannot do all that. One, there is deliberate killing of Karamojongs. Killing, shoot to kill. That a Karamojong, they simply suspect you for being a cattle rustler, which is a crime that could actually be handled under our laws, but you are killed.
Odaka says that there is a vice of immorality germinating in the Ugandan army, as portrayed by one major who paraded a dead body to show accountability.
Just last week, you saw the 3rd Division spokesperson, UPDF, killing somebody. Okay, forget whether he's a criminal or not, whether he's a raider or not, but parading a dead body. Parading a dead body. And they are saying that is accountability. When did the parading dead body? You see how immoral these guys have become? That they do not even see anything wrong.
According to Odaka, this government has made Karamoja people beggars, saying the biggest percentage of street children on Kampala roads are from that region.
The second thing they are doing to Karamoja, you see, everywhere we go in this country, we have over 53 tribes or ethnicities. But in nearly all cities and towns in this country, the only begging children are Karamojongs. And we think it is an accident. How can a government that has been in power uninterrupted for over 40 years still have kids on the streets begging? And by the way, kids from one ethnicity out of over 50. It is like this other disease in Gulu. This disease called Kanyenya Mutwe. It is only for... So there is something we must investigate about this country. That for you, each group, they can decide to plan for you a specific dose of how to finish you up.
He further stresses that the Iron Sheet saga is a diversionary conspiracy intended to divert the public from what is happening in other regions like Karamoja.
Now, they come and divert you with this conspiracy about iron sheets. This is not corruption. Many of you who have looked at that list, how careful can this entire thieving cabinet be that the entire Kigezi region, there's only one minister. The entire Nkole, there is nobody. The concentration of those who steal the iron sheet are in Bunyoro. Bunyoro hit all of it. Bunyoro, Busoga, Teso, and Acholi. How can the corruption be so selective to regions like that? Yet we know where corruption actually heads every Christmas.
The party president, Joseph Kabuleta, says this government is pinning ministers, ensure that they are under their control.
This whole Mabati saga is just to keep certain people on a short leash so that they can't go anywhere. There are cases there, and it is going to drag, you know, cases in anti-corruption court. It's going to drag 1-2 years. By this time next year, the case will still come for hearing, come for hearing, come for hearing, come for hearing. Just come for mention, you know, your neck. And you know that anytime you do something, that sword will come down. So now they have total control over you. Now this is Museveni's way of getting all his ministers on a short leash. And now they have been completely blackmailed. This is total blackmail. And now they know that they have to obey commands. But you see now, for us, we are going to start with new people who are not tainted or the other. We are going to build our own thing, because these ones here, you can't trust them now. When the man has a case in court in which there is clear evidence that he took something, and he knows it's just a matter of a political decision, a note, a letter, a phone call, and the judgment is made, and he's 3 years in prison.
The arid Karamoja earth is soaked with blood of Ugandan innocent people, and all any survivors can do is to look on, dazed and in a state of shock, for these are their mothers, fathers, children, brothers, and no one has been spared. Families, homes, lives are all gone overnight. Btm News Today.
Well, now let's go on. The National Identification and Regulatory Authority, NIRA, has announced that they are stuck with over 3 million unclaimed national identity cards, hence calling upon all Ugandans who registered to go and pick theirs as soon as possible. Now, this comes as the authorities in the final bits of carrying out a mass enrollment project. This was announced by the new public relations manager at NIRA, Osborne Mushabe, during a media gathering at the police headquarters in Naguru today. Meanwhile, police have also given a warning to moneylenders over the misuse of the national IDs, since many come to request for it as a collateral security. We have our reporter was there. I would apologize for that. We shall be coming to speed with that. But now, let's move on to the conflict that's raging on in South Sudan and take a look what's happening there. The Sudanese army is continuing to get into a bloody power struggle in a rival paramilitary forces. And also on Sunday, they blasted bases and airstrikes, according to eyewitnesses. So far, at least 59 people have died and 3 UN workers have also died. We have an update.
It was the first such outbreak since both joined forces to oustit veteran Islamist autocrat Omar Hassan al-Bashir in 2019, and was sparked by a disagreement over the integration of the RSF into the military as part of a transition towards a civilian rule. The United States, China, Russia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UN Security Council, European Union, and African Union have all appealed for a quick end to the hostilities that threaten to worsen instability in an already volatile wider region. Efforts by neighbors and regional bodies to end the violence intensified on Sunday. That included an offer by Egypt and South Sudan to mediate between the fighting parties, according to a statement by the Egyptian presidency. The two rivals have been competing for power as political factions negotiate forming a transitional government after a 2021 military coup. Hemediti's whereabouts were unknown on Sunday, but Bahan was inside army headquarters in downtown Khartoum. Witnesses and residents told reporters that the army had carried out airstrikes on RSF barracks and bases, including in Omdurman across the Nile River from the capital Khartoum, and managed to destroy most of their facilities. They said the army had also wrestled back control of much of Khartoum's presidential palace from the RSF, and both sides claimed to control it and other key installations in Khartoum, where heavy artillery and gun battles raged into Sunday. RSF members remained inside Khartoum International Airport, besieged by the army, but it was holding back from striking them to avoid wreaking major damage, witnesses said. But a major problem, witnesses and residents say, was posed by thousands of heavily armed RSF members deployed inside neighborhoods of the capital Khartoum in other cities with no authority able to control them. The UN World Food Programme said it had temporarily halted all operations in hunger-stricken areas of Sudan after 3 Sudanese employees were killed during fighting in North Darfur, and a WFP plane was hit during a gun battle at Khartoum airport. The weekend fighting followed raising tensions over the RSF's integration into the military. Disagreement over the timetable for that has delayed the signing of an internationally backed agreement with political parties on a transition to democracy. A protracted confrontation could plunge Sudan into widespread conflict as it struggles with economic breakdown and tribal violence, derailing efforts to move towards elections. Sudanese former Prime Minister Abdel Hamdok urged on Sunday an immediate ceasefire and a return to dialogue between the country's army and RSF. The African Union's Peace and Security Council convened at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa in an emergency session on Sunday to discuss political and security developments in Sudan. The council said it strongly rejected any external interference that could complicate the situation there. The East African regional grouping plans to send 3 presidents to Sudan at the earliest possible time to reconcile the fighting rival military groups. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, agreed on Sunday to send the leaders of Kenya, South Sudan, and Djibouti to the capital Khartoum. It also called for an immediate cessation of hostilities between the warring parties in Sudan.
Well, let's take a look at today's Btm Health, and in today's Btm Health, we're going to be taking a look at some of the health benefits of taking a cold bath. Let's have a look.
People have been soaking in hot water, springs and other bodies of warm water for centuries, just because it feels good, but only recently has the research begun uncovering a number of legitimate health benefits of doing so. The benefits of hot bath are mostly attributed to thermotherapy, sometimes referred to as passive heating, which temporarily raises the core body temperatures and may positively affect cardiovascular health, glycemic control, and coronary grade inflammation. Science has backed some of the benefits for hot water baths, and these are the top 5 benefits of hot water bath. Number 1. Water can soothe sore muscles. Post-workout can be a great time to reap the benefits of hot bath because research shows that the warmth can ease aches and pains. According to one study, indulging in some heat therapy after exercising reduced muscle sores by up to 47%. Number 2. Steeping in a hot bath might boost your brain power. That same study of middle-aged women with fibromyalgia found another interesting benefits of hot water baths. In addition to reducing pain, the warm water also appeared to improve cognitive function, possibly because the heat causes blood vessels to dilate and improves blood flow to the brain. Other research has found out that middle-aged men who are regularly bathed in sauna have lower risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease compared to those who did not. Number 3, a good soak could help your heart. Relaxing in a warm tub also relaxes your body vessels because the heat causes them to dilate, making it easier for blood to flow through. This temporarily decreases blood pressure, which is also similar to the effects of exercise and might have similar cardiovascular effects. Hot bath also could help fight depression. Interestingly, research has shown that the same pathways in the brain that regulate the body temperature are involved in depression. There is some evidence that raising the core body temperature, say by soaking in a warm tub, may cause changes in the brain that increase mood-regulating hormones like serotonin. Some research even indicates that in this regard, the benefits of hot bath may be greater than those of the regular exercise. Taking a hot bath before bed can help you sleep better. One of the most surprising benefits of hot baths seems to be related to circadian rhythms, which are biological processes that run according to a 24-hour internal clock and can be influenced by our environment. One of the processes in body temperature. Normally, we cool off by a few degrees as we prepare to sleep. Counterintuitively, also, taking hot water bath speeds up this process by drawing all your blood to the surface where it can easily be dispersed. While you may feel toasty and warm in the tub, you're actually cooling your core body temperature after you get out, which signals that it's time to snooze. Btm Health for Btm News Today.
Now, earlier on I talked about the conflict in South Sudan. Now, following the fights in Sudan, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has doomed the full security situation in Sudan that broke out last week between the government and also the paramilitaries. Now, in his comments yesterday, the president described the fighting as the misuse of force, which undermines the progress which has been taken in the past few months through dialogue. Our reporter has more.
I thank the Executive Secretary for calling this emergency meeting of the IGAD heads of state. When I last visited Khartoum, and in all the other meetings before, Naivasha and so on, I always told the Sudanese about the dangers of ideological and strategic mistakes. We used to discuss with General Bashir the dangers of encouraging the ideology and the politics of identity, of tribes, identity of race, Arabs, Africans, identity of religion, Muslim, Christian. And I used to tell General Bashir that this is very dangerous for that country. And indeed, eventually the country broke up into North and South. Now within the North, you still see some of these problems. So therefore, it is not correct to go on papering over mistakes year after year, decade after decade. And the ordinary people suffer so much on account of the ideological, strategic, and political mistakes of leaders. We must have principled politics. Principled politics. Even when you are to fight, you fight for a principled cause. Don't fight for just opportunistic causes.
And now we look at today's fact file, and in today's fact file, we're going to be taking a look at somehow the famous, renowned politician Robert Kyagulanyi today. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, known by his stage name Bobi Wine, is a Ugandan politician, singer and actor. He's a former member of parliament for Kyadondo County East constituency in Wakiso district. He also leads the National Unity Platform. In June 2019, he announced his candidacy for the 2021 Uganda presidential election. He participated in the 2021 elections where he lost to the incumbent president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, a result which Kyagulanyi and a large section of public strongly disputed. On December 14, 2021, he was placed under house arrest by the government of Uganda. Kyagulanyi was born in Nkozi Hospital, where his mother worked as a midwife. He grew up in Kamocha, a slum in the northeastern part of Kampala, the capital city of Kampala. Kyagulanyi attended Kitante High School, where he attained Uganda Certificate of Education in 1996, as well as Kololo Senior Secondary School, where he attained the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education in 1998. He attended Makerere University, where he studied music, dance and drama, graduating with a diploma in 2003, and in 2016, Kyagulanyi returned to the university to study Bachelor of Laws at the International University of East Africa. Kyagulanyi began his music career in the early 2000s and adopted the name Bobby Rob, a similar name to his Christian given name Roberts, taking inspiration from Bob Marley, who was also named Robert. He later adopted the stage name Bobi Wine. His first songs, including Akagoma, Funtula and Sunda, brought him success in the Ugandan music scene. His music has been characterized as hidandali, reggae, dancehall and Afrobeats, often with a socially conscious message. He was the leader of the group Firebase Crew until its disbandment, after which he started a new group as the Ghetto Republic of Uganda. He released more than 70 songs in over 15 years. In 2016, his song Kyoan was featured on the soundtrack of the Disney movie Queen of Katwe. Bobi Wine's major music channel has always been Afrobeat music. Bobi Wine's music has been sold and promoted by the late Kasio Kida. He acknowledged receiving receipts of 60 million for his music sale in just 1 month from Kasio Kida. He has a fully monetized YouTube channel with tens of millions of views. He has held various concerts and performances in addition to brand endorsements, all that bringing income to him. He owns a commercial production studio in Kamocha known as Firebase Records. Kyagulanyi is also a film actor, mainly starring in local Ugandan movies, and in 2010 he was cast in Cleopatra Kyohaire's drama Yogeda. In 2015, he was cast in a lead role in the Twaweza-supported film Situka with Helen Lukoma. He has also worked on a number of other films including Divisions. Bobi Wine has his own reality TV show named Ghetto President. Kyagulanyi has supported several practical projects to improve the conditions of the poor. In 2012, he started a campaign to promote more regular cleaning in hospitals, sanitization, garbage management, and hand washing to prevent disease. In 2014, Kyagulanyi was named as an ambassador for Save the Children Everyone campaign, joining a team of 14 Ugandan artists who recorded a special song and a video about maternal and child health. Kyagulanyi is often outspoken about the politics of Uganda, social issues in Uganda, generating some controversy. While still at Makerere University, Kyagulanyi met his wife Barbara Itungo, who at the time was a senior 6 student at Beranyangi Girls. Their wedding took place in August 2011, 10 years after living together. They have 4 children. Kyagulanyi and his family reside in Magere village, Wakiso district, where he ensures they go together to dig and get food. Fact file for Btm News Today. Well, it's about 27 to exactly 10, and we're going to be taking a very short break, but when we return, we still have more news for you, so stay with us.
you looking for a one-stop center to host your conference or meeting, wedding parties, workshops or seminars? Thobani Conference Center has the perfect modern space for your event. We have spacious outdoor and indoor space to accommodate over 1,000 and below 150 people, offering free lighting, LED screens, free sound system, free chairs, free Wi-Fi, and secure basement parking space. Drop by at Cafe at 2 and we will be at your service with our finest coffee, espresso, cappuccino, and cafe latte. Enjoy incredibly delicious meals, grab a milkshake or a cocktail juice. Only at Cafe at 2. And that's not all. We have the latest video games for the game lovers. We are located in the city center at the Thobani Center Building Level 2 along Ginger Road opposite DFCU Bank. For more information and bookings, call 0772 307875 or 0750 647486. Thobani Conference Center, the place to be.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still moving on, and now let's take a look at what the Ministry of Education is saying. The Ministry of Education has encouraged schools not only to focus on classwork but also emphasize sports. This will help to inculcate discipline into the learners. The call was made by the Commissioner of the Physical Education and Sports in the Ministry of Education, Reverend Canon Duncan Mugumya, while giving a keynote message as the guest of honor earlier on today at St. Mark's College, Namagoma. The Commissioner also cautioned parents who bar their children from engaging in education, rather in sports, as it says that this limits their chances to succeed. And now our reporter was there.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Kiprotich, among others, are celebrated not because of their academic papers, but sports. The Minister of Education suggests that co-curricular activities in schools should be considered, as this sharpens the brains of many learners. This was exhibited at St. Mark's College in Namagoma as they held their sports inter-house competitions. Canon Alice Damrida, the school director, says co-curricular activities sharpen the brains of learners.
To have an understanding that you can multitask. It's not only about going to the classroom, but it's also growing in all respects of life. You can grow your health by being active in sports. You can grow your talent in music. You can grow your talent in reading. You can grow your talent in poetry. So we intentionally create time for our students to be able to grow in those respects of life, because you cannot only talk about academics. You need that and more.
Commissioner of Physical Education and Sports in the Ministry of Education, Reverend Canon Duncan Mugumya, cautioned schools and parents who discourage their children from participating in sports, as this limits their chances to have a successful life.
Thank you for that good courage. That sport has been doing well and we thank you. However, there are many parents who wanted to misinterpret it. And I think you have seen that the child is just exercising, putting the skill in the head, and this exercise leads to many other things. When you do exercise, you obviously do away with many non-communicable diseases and others. But not only that, a child who does this dance will never doze in class. I want to remind you, those children who participate in sports at national level get 4 points for university. Actually, we have now submitted a list of more than 60 sports persons to Makerere to be added 4 points to take them to good courses. I have seen students who are admitted for education, and when they are given the 4 points, they jump into medicine.
Besides having a healthy body, sportsmen and sportswomen think they can use this to attain exposure. Women have rallied their fellows to always support their children in such activities. This report was filed by Patrick Kitaka for Btm News Today.